Hi, and welcome back. My name is Roxy Kellerman with Tycor Title, and you're joining us with the program that we just started to help you identify some of the different challenges that you may be having or questions that may come up regarding title insurance. This is Title TV today, and with me I have
Stacy Angstead.
And we're going to be talking about, gosh, Stacy, honestly, most people don't know what to look for when they're taking a listing and what they should be doing. So what would be the first thing for them to do as a real estate listing agent when they go in and they meet with a client?
Great question. Couple of pitfalls that I do notice. We have got a fantastic MLS. However, the tax records are not always the most up to date with the way that the title systems work. Title is by far the best place to get the information about who your seller truly is, what's been recorded as far as documentation, telling everybody who owns the property. So I would say the first thing when somebody gets a phone call saying, I want you to come list my home, or I want you to come interview for the job of listing my home, the best thing you can do for yourself to eliminate any aggravation is call title directly. Call us. We're the ones that are going to be able to determine for you who your actual seller is. Has there been an affidavit of death filed for a joint tenant? Is the property in a trust? Has there been any death involved that we're aware of? The more information that you're armed with on the front end when you go in to take that listing, the better off you're going to be and the smoother transaction you're going to have.
Yeah. And you know, that's a great point to point out, because the fact is that many times I find myself finding out that there is a trust kind of late in the game, and it doesn't occur to someone that you have to tell the story to the title officer and to the escrow officer so that we can all be in communication to make that closing smooth. So they have to share.
One big pitfall that I want to point out is if you hold your property in a trust, okay, and let's say it's an elderly parent and you as the child are the person that's going to be selling it. A lot of times people will call us and say, I have a power of attorney and I'm going to be selling my mother's home.
Yes.
She's in assisted living and here's all the documentation. I will caution everybody that 95% of the time, the trust is not going to allow for a power of attorney, okay? Because the trust is the entity itself that's determining who is allowed to do what in the event of death, incapacity, amongst other things.
Okay, now that's a very good point. There are special powers of attorney, and then there's power of attorney. We've had lots of conversations regarding that. What's the distinction?
Excellent
Why
question.
do we need that special?
Okay, the specific power of attorney is going to identify a specific property, and that is the easiest way to go if you have a power of attorney. A lot of times you have people in the military, and they have military powers of attorney that are general, that allow the spouse to do whatever needs to be done. Powers of attorney, it's very important to get the power of attorney to title very quickly when you realize that you're going to be using one, because there's always going to be exceptions to that rule. You know, in my 19 years, I've always said, you know, get that power of attorney in there. That's the one that we need. But if a power of attorney has already been executed and you have a spouse that's deployed, then there's a lot of times that we will take that military power of attorney, more times than not, in fact. So every case is a little bit different, and that is where our underwriting comes into play. And we'll look at those right off the bat, and we'll tell you what's in your best interest to keep you out of trouble and to keep your transaction running smoothly.
Another question that happens regarding those power of attorneys is there is an expiration date on that, and most people don't think that there is. Do power of attorneys just last an entire lifetime with an infinite no end?
No, typically not. And that's one of the first things when I get a power of attorney and I'm looking at it, I'm going to go, how old is this?
Yes.
Okay, and why are you using a power of attorney? Because of everything that's gone on in our economy over the last 10 years, everybody is scrutinizing documentation more so than they ever have. So it is important to get that information on the front end. If you have a power of attorney and it's a year old, we're probably still going to want to know, why are you utilizing a power of attorney? Okay, is it because a spouse is overseas? Is it because somebody's traveling out of the country? There could be instances where, yeah, we'll accept the power of attorney, but we would like to see an email from that entity just saying, yeah, I realize that the property is being sold and that my spouse is using a power of attorney.
Well, I got to tell you, Stacy, those are very common questions that come up for us on a daily basis. It's something that you and I live with every day, but I know that the real estate agent and the consumer out there sometimes doesn't know all of the answers. So we're hoping that this was very helpful to you. We're going to continue this series. Our purpose and our goal is to make sure that you are equipped with as much information as you possibly can, but you will need the support of an expert, and that's who we are. So we'll look forward to seeing you again, and take care.